Hey everyone, before I get started on my next topic, I want to tell you about a heated debate that I had with one of the YouTubers, and I think this person's username is V as in Victor 09181964. So we had a heated discussion about Black Lives Matters because I was doing a topic about Karmelo Anthony and how Black Lives Matters um, factor into it, especially what happened in George Floyd. And I was just giving my perspective and my viewpoints and my point of view. Well, that particular person didn't like what I had to say, and we were going back and forth, a heated discussion, which I love a heated debate. And long story short, this particular person told me that I'm not educated, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I shouldn't be talking about Black Lives Matters because they they did a lot in the Black Lives Matters community and everything. And then why am I hating? And then I said, first of all, I'm a God of child. I'm a child of God. Okay, I don't hate anyone. I love, respect everyone. Okay, the fact of the matter is, you guys, I was all support of Black Lives Matters. I really was. I was all for the organization, how they were doing good works about helping black communities, especially George Floyd. I even had like a heated discussion, a heated debate, excuse me, with my sister, saying that they're good organization, they're doing good by people, they're doing honorable things, they're making things matter, especially Black Lives Matters. And my sister, she disagreed with me. She said, "No, Cheryl, it's all about profit. It's all about money. They didn't really care about Black people." Blah blah blah. I'm telling my sister, "No, no." It was like an argument, okay? Because I was telling my sister she was wrong. These organizations, they're right, and they're doing good work for Black community. Well, sure enough, my sister was right this whole time because I did my research and come to find out that it was all a fraud. Okay, Black Lives Matter movement was all a fraud. It was all a persona to think that there are for Black people when actually there were not. It was all about money to pocket it for them. And that's the bottom line with George Floyd and everything. They didn't care about the Black community. They didn't care about anybody but your donations. And I want to ask that particular person that we were having a debate about, what happened to the $90 million? Dollars? Where did the money go? Did it go to the Black community? Where did it go? Well, I'm going to tell you because it did not go to the Black community at all. They had all these riots, destroying mom and pop shops, um, all these damages that they did to the neighborhood and everything. And where did the money go? Answer that. Where did the money go? Well, I'm going to tell you where the money go because I pulled up 2020 Black Matters taxes, okay, which you can easily pull it up yourself because it's public record, okay. Now, the amount of money they spend on themselves and other people, I'm like, where the money went to the Black people? None. So for Trans Justice funding project, $200,000 went there. Trans Unit Fund, another $200,000 went there. Transgender advocate, $440,000. Where's the money? Where's the money? Where is the money? Where did it go? $6 million went on a mansion, okay, one of the organization. It didn't go to the Black people. It didn't go to the people that were their homes and their businesses were damaged. Where did it go? Where did it go? So you can't tell me that this organization is about for the Black community because it was all a lie. It was all a sauna. They were taking money, people's hard-earned money, and to put for what? For donation for them, for their own back pockets? Fraudulent. And that's exactly what I said. You can agree to disagree. You think they're doing good works? I'm telling you, they're fraudulent, okay? They fooled everyone, including me. And you can't get away with that because once you steal someone's hard work money, and then you saying that this is for this reason and that reason, and come to find out that was all a lie, that was all a persona, well, look what happened to them. Wiring fraud and all that stuff, it comes back to you. It really does. And people are starting to see that back in 2020. So you can't tell me that this organization was good because clearly it wasn't. And you can pull this up yourself if you don't believe me or take my word for it. Also, Candace Owen did a full documentary about Black Lives Matters when she was in the Daily Wires, when she was working for those companies. And she did an extensive interview and asking all the important questions about Black Lives Matters, how it was all a fraud too. You don't have to take my word for it. Listen to what she had to say when she interviewed this particular gentleman. Give me 1 second. Pull it up right now. So this particular person said that I'm ignorant. I don't know what I'm talking about with Black Lives Matter. Clearly, it's right there, right in the pudding. Oops, sorry. There we go.
Consumed when Black Lives Matter announced that they raised over $90 million, who knows how much over, on the back of the George Floyd riots and the sprees. Where is that money?
I don't know. It's not here. Everything looks worse than it was.
Is it possible that Black America was sort of used as a front, and the emotions that Black America was feeling was used as a front, and this money went probably maybe not to Black people at all, anywhere in the world?
So many elements of people who took advantage of the death of George Floyd to stir up the emotions for political gain, for financial gain, and to propagate division, because some of these organizations that raise money, they can only get money if they propagate hatred and division. They are not helping the community.
There you go. Well, I don't know what to say about that. They were not helping the community, okay? They were helping themselves. They used George Floyd as basically like a scapegoat to use his death to all this propaganda to get money from you people, okay, including me, to donate for a good cause when all the reality, it was not for a good cause. It was to make money to pocket them for themselves. Okay? Plain and simple. And these are the facts. Okay? I didn't believe it at first until I did my research, until I watched that that documentary that Candace Owens did, and I had my own different perspective. My eyes was open. I was being lied to. It's like most of the American people were being lied to as well. So don't you dare tell me that I hate people and I don't like people, okay? Let me tell you something. I'm all about an organization. I'm all about doing good for the greater good for people. But when it comes to being lied to by an organization, saying that my hard working money and other people's working money is not for that organization, it's not for that good cause, then you are fraudulent. You are lying to the people. And you need to be exposed like they were exposed, okay? And people were starting to find out the truth. So you can't tell me that they were doing good works. No, they wasn't. They were doing good works for themselves and to pocket for themselves. Point blank, period. Now, you may not agree with me, and that's fine. You can agree to disagree. But I'm telling you, you cannot change my perspective. It doesn't matter how many ways you slice it or dice it. You're not going to change my perspective of Black Lives Matters. They are fraudulent, and it was all a scam. Point blank, period. If you can tell me where the $90 million go, then maybe I will have a different perspective. But until then, they spend the money on themselves and other things that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Point blank, period. That's it. I'm going to move on. Moving on that topic. Now, I want to talk about Karmelo Anthony. Now, if anyone has not known what has happened on April 2nd of 2025, Karmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old boy, stabbed another 17-year-old boy, Austin Metcalf, over an altercation. Now, I've been hearing stuff on the internet that, Austin Metcalf deserved it because Karmelo Anthony was defending himself. It was self-defense because he was being bullied. He was being punched in the face. And before I get all that, there was a bail set for $1 million originally, but he went and his family went to a court, the hearing, to reduce the reduction of the bond, and now the judge reduced it to $250,000 and placed him on house arrest. So placed him on house arrest, and he has an ankle monitor. He cannot be on social media as well, and until a judge, because the particular judge who set this bail, she's not going to be the judge that's going if it goes to trial. I believe that it's not going to go to trial. I believe they may have a plea deal, but we don't know yet. We're going to wait and see. But the judge who did this hearing is Judge Angela Tucker. She's the one who set the $250,000 for his bail. With the GoFundMe, they should have the money to bail him out, because they raised a whole lot of money, with people's donations to free Karmelo Anthony because he is innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. Everyone's saying that Austin Metcalf deserved to be stabbed because Austin Metcalf was the aggressor and he's the one that punched, Karmelo Anthony in the face, which that is total ludicrous and a total lie. But before I continue with that, but the bond reduction hearing, it was at 9 a.m. today, and Anthony and his family attended, and they both testified in the hearing. He was wearing a gold jumpsuit, handcuffed and chain, and there was a cross examination with the prosecutor saying that Anthony was in another. Let's get this, another altercation on February 4th in a school, but there was no law enforcement involvement. But there's a pattern here, you guys. There was another incident, okay? Another incident. But there was no law enforcement, but there was another incident. So clearly, there's an issue with this kid, okay? There's an issue with him, okay? Now, like I was saying, the parents testify of saying that, he's a really good kid, straight A student, never got into trouble, which that's clearly a lie. But, parents are going to say things to defend, their child, even though, there's a lot of evidence stacked against him. But I just want to go back to the self-defense. I just don't understand why a lot of people are condoning this, because Austin Metcalf did not have a weapon on him. He did not get physical with Karmelo Anthony. He touched Karmelo Anthony and tell him to move out of his seat. And Karmelo Anthony is the one that got aggressive. Okay. It was told that Austin Metcalf punched Karmelo Anthony. If that was the case, when he got arrested, you would see a bruise on his face. Clearly, let me just point it out to you. Clearly, there's no bruise on his face, okay? There's nothing. No black eye, no busted lip, no broken nose, nothing like that. So that rumor is a lie, because if that was true, there would be bruises on his face, okay? So for them to say that he was punched in the face, that was a lie. Did Austin touch him? Yes. However, that don't give Karmelo an excuse to pull up a knife in his backpack to stab this kid, okay? If there was an altercation, why he couldn't just get up and move, okay? If someone touched you, be the bigger person and walk away, move. And everyone's saying that he deserved this and deserved that, and it's just ludicrous. It is. And another thing, they said that he was bullied. Let's think about this. Let's use our common sense. Karmelo did not even go to that school. He didn't even attend to that school. So how can you be bullied by someone that you don't know? Austin Metcalf never seen this kid in his life, neither the brother. So how can you be bullied, first of all? Second of all, if he was bullied, why didn't he tell his parents? Why did he didn't tell his parents, so his parents the next day can go to the school and speak to one of the teachers and report it, to have at least some type of documentation of conflict? No, that did not happen because there was no bullying, okay? He made it up. He made it up. He made it up because he had no other excuses or to say, because he knew what he did was wrong, okay? Now, If you knew you were being bullied, why would you go to that school the next day? Why? And why not report it? Why not say anything to your parents? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense at all. And if it was true, it would have been documented. It would have been documented to the school so they will have some type of conflict resolution. Okay? But none of it was true. He was not punched in the face. He was not being bullied because, again, you can't be bullied for someone that you don't know. Now, they're using that self-defense card. Okay, so I looked up the Texas law. Okay, and it says, okay, section 9.31, protection of a person, self-defense. Expecting to provide a subsection, a person is justified by using force against another when to the degree the actor responsibly believes the force is immediately necessary to protect the actor against the other using or attempt use of lawful force. Okay? Next, section 9.32, deadly force in defense of a person. A person is justified in using deadly force against another. If the actor would be justified using force against the other under section 9.31, and when and to the degree that the actor responsibly believes that deadly force is immediately necessary. To protect the actor against the other use or attempt use of lawful force, deadly force. To prevent others immediately commission and aggressiveness, kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggressiveness, robbery, or aggravated robbery. Now, let's be clear. None of this applied to Austin, okay? Because first of all, he didn't have a weapon. Second of all, he was not the aggressor. Karmelo was the aggressor, okay? When Austin told him to please, maybe he didn't say please, but I'm going to say please. Please, you're sitting in the wrong seat. Can you move? And Karmelo, I keep saying Anthony, Karmelo is the one that's the aggressor. Touch me, see what happens. Punch me, see what happens. He's the one that was the aggressor. He's the one who was giving force, not the other way around. So when Austin touched, when he touched Karmelo, that's when Karmelo went into his bag, reached out a black knife, and stabbed the kid in the chest. That does not justify the murder of another 17-year-old boy. I don't care what anyone says, because there's a lot of talk saying that free Karmelo, free him, he's innocent, blah, blah, blah. No, murder is murder. When you take someone's life, you have to serve the time. You have to deal with the consequences of your action. That is it. So if I murder another person, then that's justified for me to like kill someone and I should just be free and get away? No. If I take someone's life, I'm accountable for that. I deserve to be punished. There should be justice for that. Period. It doesn't matter how many ways you slice it or dice it. It doesn't matter if I say self-defense. If I made that attempt to hurt or harm someone, I should be liable for that. I should be going to jail for that. And it is the same thing that applies. Because he's a black, young, 17-year-old boy, rules don't apply for him because he's black. Isn't that absurd? That's the most absurd thing I ever heard in my life. I don't understand that. I don't understand why there have to be a race thing. I just don't understand that. Why it can't just be what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If you commit a crime, you deserve the time. It's anywhere. It's the law. I don't understand why it's so different because he's black and it's okay for another person to commit a crime and then go to jail. How is it differ? It's not. It's the same thing. Doesn't matter what skin tone you are. It doesn't matter. So that's mean I can, or anyone can just go and kill someone and a different race, and that's okay. But if it's the same race, if it's a different race, that's not okay. But if it's the same race, it is okay. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And first of all, he should have brought that knife to school. Okay, that's a violation. He's wrong on that part. Okay, if you feel threatened, if you feel bullied, you shouldn't even brought the knife to school. You shouldn't even um went to that school in the first place. He should have moved. Point blank. Period. He should have moved. Okay, this was premeditated. And when it's premeditated, that's a crime. That is a crime, you guys. That is a crime what he did. Okay, and if he felt bullied, let's put our thinking caps on. If he felt bullied and he stabbed the kid, why run? You would just stayed, right? Why run and throw the knife underneath the bleachers when a cop can actually, found the black knife? Why run? If you was actually being bullied, why run? You would stay, right? And say, oh my gosh, I accidentally stabbed this kid. I was being bullied by both brothers. I was fearful for my life. You would actually stay if you were being bullied and if you were being attacked. But no, he ran away until the cop found him. So that was premeditated, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He was the aggressor. He was the aggressor. He said, touch me and see what happens. Punch me, see what happens. He's the one who was the aggressor, not Austin. Now, the truth will come out because there's several eyewitnesses saw the whole thing. Okay, we're going to get their testimony, and the truth will come out. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm just going by facts and what I read in the police report. Okay, you can definitely pull it up. It's on the website, and I read the police report. He confessed that he stabbed him. He confessed that it was him that did it, and he asked the police officer to make sure. He asked the police officer if he was okay. Okay, he did. The police officer alleged, and then Karmelo Anthony said, "There's no alleged. I did it." He confessed. He confessed that he did it. He confessed that he stabbed Austin. Then he turned around to say it's self-defense because he realized what he did was wrong. He realized what he did was wrong. At some point, people need to take accountability. Okay. You can't just keep saying bullying, self-defense. You can't say it's a racial thing because it's not a racial thing. You know, when people take other people's life, you have to be accountable. You have to say, listen, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to be a man enough and take the responsibility and serve my time. He's 17 years old. Obviously, he's not going to get the death penalty, but he's going to go to prison for a very long time. And I hope that the jurors, if there even be a possibility of trial, that he just take a plea deal. He take a plea deal and serve his time. Because it doesn't matter what he says about his self-defense. You have to prove that in a court of law. You have to prove that it was self-defense. And clearly, by me reading the police report and reading everything, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And no one's not buying that it's self-defense. It's really not. You can't say self-defense when the other person didn't have a weapon to attack you. All he asked you to do was move, and you didn't want to move. You wanted to be some hot, tough guy to prove you're a man, prove that you were tough. And sure enough, you pulled a knife out of your bag, and then boom, you destroy a family. You destroy a family who lost their son. And your life is destroyed as well because you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. So no one doesn't win here. Really, no one doesn't win. Everyone loses in this situation. And I hope and pray that everyone can learn from this. Because, people are arguing, well, he touched him, excuse me. So if someone touched you or shoved you, that's mean that I should get stabbed? So if someone pushed me or shoved me, then that person should stab me or I should stab the other person? No, I'm going to be the bigger person and walk away. And if they continue to do that, the right thing to do, the logic thing to do, common sense to do, call 911. Call 911 and say, listen, I have a crazy, unhinged person is attacking me. Okay? Because if you put your hands on that other person or attack that other person, you both go to jail. And who wins here? Sometimes we have to be smart. Sometimes we cannot base on our emotions. And I feel like that was happening here. Okay? Young Karmelo Anthony was based on his emotions, and he didn't know how to control his emotions. So what he did, he reacted. He reacted in a violent way and took another kid's life. Point blank, period. That's what happened. Okay? We cannot excuse this. We cannot condone this, excuse me. This should not happen at all. If you are shoved, walk away. And why pull a gun? Why pull a knife if someone shove you or push you? Use your hands and shove them back. Even though I don't condone violence, but shove them back or push them back. And if they keep getting aggressive and keep coming towards you, then that's when you call 911 and get some help. But you don't grab a knife or a gun and start stabbing someone because someone pushed you and shoved you. I'm sorry. There's laws in place. The law is a law. You may not like the law. You may not accept how the law is and how it works, but that's the law. That's what was in place for us to follow the law and not be a crazy person or unhinged and taking someone else's life. Okay? It's just crazy. He's going to face first-degree murder. Okay? First degree. That's what they seek it for. First-degree murder. So, I don't know. I really feel bad for both parties. I really do. My heart goes out for each and one of them. I really do. But I just want to ask Karmelo, what were you thinking, bro? What were you thinking? What were you thinking, Anthony? Is it Anthony? Karmelo Anthony. You know who I'm talking about. What was he thinking? All he had to do was just move. That's it. That's it. That's all he had to do was move. Now, I want to show you a clip that's on TikTok, Charleston White, and he made a good point of the whole situation with Karmelo Anthony, and I just wanted to share it with you and wanted to get your perspective of what he said and his point of view. And when I watched it, I agree with him. I really do. And what he said makes a lot of sense. It really does. And I have to say, I am so sorry about the cursing. I tried to find another video that can blur out the language, but I couldn't find anything. So forgive me, and forgive me, YouTube, that I tried to find it, but it's a little bit of cursing there. So just bear with me. So there we go. Let's just get out of here. Sorry, guys. Just click here. There you go. All right.
Got to go. There's no so when is it our right to kill the bully? I don't give a fuck what the bully did. He don't have a right to die. No. Man, you weak man. That's why I say teach the kids how to deal with bullies, and this won't happen. We're all not equal. Even in nature, you can be feeding a flock of birds. There's going to always be one bird to come in and take the food from the... This is nature. You cannot get rid of bullies. Teach the kids how to deal with them. Bullies build character. You go to work. There's going to be a bully supervisor, a bully co-worker. You cannot get rid of the bully. Teach our children conflict resolution. Everything don't have to end in violence. But when you come from the black culture, everything is disputed in violence.
That is the problem, though.
It's the culture.
That's the culture. That's how they solve. When you have a serious issue, they don't even contemplate trying to talk it out.
We teach a no snitching rule, right? So our kids are walking around with these mafia rules, codes, and ethics of the streets that's held over children about no snitching. So now I have to take a weapon because I don't want to be a snitch and kill another kid. Oh, it's a simple solution. Don't tell the teacher. Tell your parents. It's a simple solution.
I know, but
tell, motherfucker.
Oh, let's stop right there. I am so sorry. Pause. All right. Now, I agree with him. The parents need to tell the kids how to deal with being bullied, what to do if they're being bullied at school. And same thing, it applies at your job. If you're being bullied by a supervisor or a coworker, there's things in place where you can go to report that. Okay, human resources, HR, if you're being bullied by a coworker or a supervisor, just like if you felt like you're being sexually assaulted at the job, that's what there's HR for. Same thing in the school. If you feel like you're being bullied, parents need to teach their children how to handle that, how to deal with that situation. So so this does not happen. This doesn't occur. Even though this was not a bully situation, but still, Kids get bullied all the time. I used to get bullied, but you don't see me trying to get a knife and try to stab someone because I feared my parents and I feared going to jail because my parents were not. They don't play. They don't play. My parents were serious. They meant business. Okay, not to cause trouble, to go to school, to get an education, do what you have to do, and then leave. Okay, I got bullied, but it didn't give me a right to go the next day to a school and attack someone because I'm getting bullied. And it's the same thing. If you feel like you're being bullied, talk to your parents. Your parents will help you how to deal with that situation. Then your parents, the next step is to go to the school and figure out some conflict resolution, just like Charles White said, to figure it out so it doesn't escalate to violence. Because violence is not the answer. Taking another person's life is not the answer. It's talking about it, finding a resolution, and trying to solve the problem, to de-escalate the problem, not make it worse by taking another person's life. Bottom line. Bottom line. And I don't know what else to say about that. Again, we just have to wait and see. We're going to wait and see if this is going to go to trial, or the attorney's going to take a plea deal for Karmelo Anthony. All I know right now, the bond has been reduced to $250,000. He's on house arrest. He has an ankle monitor. He cannot be on social media, like I said. So we're just going to see if it's going to go to trial, and there's going to be a new judge that's going to be assigned to this case. But I don't know. I don't think, I'm just giving you my opinion, I don't think it's going to go to trial because there's too many variables, meaning too many witnesses. The self-defense is not going to work. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work. I don't believe it's going to work. The public's not believing that it's self-defense. It's just cold-hearted murder. That's what he did. He did, and he has to take accountability and responsibility of what he did. He should have thought twice of taking another kid's life. It would have been an easy situation for him just to move. And a lot of people are saying that, it's a public tent. He had the right to sit there. No, he didn't. That was not his tent. He was not allowed to sit underneath that tent. There was another tent that was signed to his group. Why he couldn't sit there? Stop making excuses. It doesn't matter which tent he was or what tent he wasn't one. He took another kid's life. That is it. Period. Okay? If it was your kid, you wouldn't be saying all this. You will want justice because someone took your child. Because your child is no longer on this earth. You wouldn't make excuses to, he sat on this tent or this was self-defense. Murder is murder. That is it. Point blank, period. So we can't make excuses for young black men. We can't make excuses for anyone. There needs to be justice. That's why there's rules. That's why there's law and order. And we need justice for Austin Metcalf. We really do. And I hope and pray that justice will be served and Karmelo Anthony will serve his time, go to prison, because that's where he needs to be, because he needs to learn a viable lesson, and you can't do that. You really can't. And again, my heart goes out to his family as well, because his family's dealing with all this, with media, press, and all this stuff. Again, both parents lost. It's not a win-win situation. Okay, one is dead, the other one may go to prison for the rest of his life. His life is ruined, period. Period. So I would definitely keep you updated about the case and see where it's going to go forward. If it's going to go to trial or if he's going to take a plea deal. And if he was smart and if his attorney was smart, I would take the plea deal. I would take the plea deal, but we're going to wait and see. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching That's It with Cheryl, and I will see you guys next time. Take care and God bless.